Another day, another adventure, and today is all about facing up to my childhood fears. Now I've come back to my home village of Calverton in Nottinghamshire, which is supposed to be one of the most haunted villages in the county, and I'm going to be revisiting some of those places that used to scare me witless as a child. Now we're out in the countryside today, it's quite nice, a bit breezy obviously, but generally it's very pleasant. But trust me, this place gets a lot scarier at night. Which is why I'm going to be doing the majority of this in the comforting light of day. But I think the most disconcerting thing for me is that when I'm revisiting these scary places, that I'll be isolated and I'll be vulnerable, and what's more, I will be completely on my own. Now behind me is a spot where Calverton Vicarage used to stand. It's been pulled down now, but it stood derelict for many, many years, and the story goes that strange screams and shouts could be heard emanating from the supposedly abandoned house. People would take their dogs on walks and the dogs would refuse to walk past the place. And even when it was being pulled down, apparently a malevolent force sent two great big burly builders screaming from the ruins. Goodness knows what that would have been like. Well, I've been here for literally minutes and already I'm quite bored, although this is a lot of fun. But one thing I have noticed is that all around me there seems to be some kind of icy chill. Now, could that be because a malevolent spirit still haunts this spot? Or could it be because it's a bit windy and I'm not wearing a coat? Who can say? Anyway, to the pub. Tom. Thanks, Tom. Well, this is my local, the Admiral Rodney. Many a happy night spent in here. Now, this is one place that has its fair share of evil spirits, and I'm not just talking about the Doubles Bar. This place has loads of ghosts, apparently, but perhaps the best known one is of a little girl who flits in and out of the cellars. And often people have experienced very strange atmospheres around the place, feelings of sadness and of dread and of loss, a bit like at Last Orders. But I have to say, it is really nice to be back after all these years. And I'll tell you what, living in London has not changed me one bit. So, white wine spritzer, anyone? No? Pink gin? The woo-woo? Ooh, very cheeky. This place is so haunted. Even the walls have their own spectres. This place has its own ghost that jumps out on unsuspecting victims late at night and startles them. It's called the Three Holes Ghost. I don't know how it got its name though. And finally we come to my favourite story, which is one that genuinely used to freak me out as a child. This is George's Hill, and it's notorious for its ghostly encounters. People have been chased home by shapeless forms. Motorists have run over mysterious figures in the middle of the road, only to get out and find absolutely no trace of the victim. And at school, we used to dare each other to camp overnight in the nearby woods, but of course, no one ever did. What really frightened me, and I always think about this when I drive down George's Hill, was a story of a lady who in the mid-1990s was approaching the bend at the bottom of the hill, and she glanced up in her rearview mirror only to see the figure of a hooded man sitting in the back of her car. And she was so frightened that she drove at high speed down into the village, which is just over a mile away, where the spectre finally disappeared. So, at the end of all this, the big question seems to be, do ghosts really exist? Well, from the places that I've been to today and the evidence that I've gathered, I've come to the following conclusion. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, if I ever did find out firsthand that ghosts actually exist, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to be on my own. Ha 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 ha!